Seven Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey. I feel as though that book was all about emotional intelligence. I remember absolutely loving that book, and I don't remember the first time I read it, but I do remember when I was reintroduced to it. The ideas and concepts in Seven Habits of Highly Effective People was part of the training I participated in with this awesome program that I was involved in for many years. This program was created to help what was then called EI, or emotionally impaired children, have successful summer camp experiences. Most of these campers were recommended to our program by therapists and caseworkers because they knew our program was awesome. It was a truly incredible program that worked with thousands of youngsters over the years. In all, I was a part of that program for over a decade and eventually became a facilitator of the staff training. I continued using the work of Covey because it really is a blueprint that helped create the environment of success for these kids who didn't get many chances at success in life. I cannot overemphasize this. If you have not read Habits of Highly Effective People, I strongly recommend it. I'm going to share the basic concepts and ideas of this book with you here to give you a taste of how awesome it is, but also because it really is a great study on raising your own EQ. It really does a great job of introducing the concepts of emotional intelligence and how we can become a people with a higher EQ. Now, I'm borrowing and tweaking this book synopsis from an article that I found on medium.com. All right, so the first habit is be proactive. The first habit, be proactive, emphasizes taking responsibility for one's own life. Covey suggests that highly effective people understand that they have control over their emotions and responses, regardless of external circumstances. Now, I'm going to repeat that last part. Regardless of external circumstances. Proactivity involves aligning one's actions with personal values, practicing self-awareness, and using the power we have in our language and communication to empower ourselves and others around us. By focusing on what can be controlled rather than dwelling on the uncontrollable, individuals can shape their lives and make positive changes. Habit 2. Begin with the end in mind. Covey suggests that effective individuals have clear vision of their own desired destinations before embarking on an endeavor. Begin with the end in mind encourages us all to identify our personal mission statements, define our core values, and our long-term goals. Now, just to let you know, I'm going to be doing an entire episode on creating our own personal mission and vision statements in an upcoming episode. By envisioning their desired outcomes, individuals can align their daily actions and decisions with their overarching purpose. Covey emphasizes the importance of setting priorities based on principles rather than reacting to immediate demands. Habit 3. Put first things first. This habit revolves around time management and prioritization. Covey introduces the concept of the time management matrix, which categorizes tasks into 4 quadrants based on their urgency and importance. Briefly, the time management matrix is exactly what it sounds like. On a piece of paper, create a 4-quadrant graph by putting one line going down the middle and then another one going across to make a T-shape. Put the number 1 in the upper left quadrant, number 2 in the upper right, number 3 in the lower left, and a 4 on the lower right. Each one of these 4 parts is a quadrant. In Q1, write important, urgent. In Q2, write important, not urgent. In Q3, write not important, urgent. And in Q4, write not important, not urgent. Q1 is the quadrant of necessity. Tasks and projects that fit into this quadrant are those that are both urgent and important. They often have a way of getting our attention. In fact, they often demand our attention. These are the most pressing issues that really do need to be taken care of as soon as possible. In Quadrant 2, write all those tasks that are important but not urgent. Things such as planning, participation, they often require some effort to complete, and sometimes they can take considerable time. This tends to be the tasks we procrastinate about doing because they lack urgency. But if we're not careful, they end up in the first quadrant after being ignored for too long. Quadrant 3 are tasks that are masquerading as important based on a sense of urgency. However, if you examine them closely, you realize that they are not really all that important at least not to you and not right away. And then quadrant 4 is not important and not urgent. Quadrant 4 activities in the time management matrix are everything else. These often take the form of self-distractions, such as surfing the internet aimlessly, or excessive social media scrolling, or even unnecessary embellishment on some task that we've been given. Okay, now I want to give a quick thanks to an article I found online at the Langford Consulting website for that last little bit of clarification on the 4 quadrants. Highly effective people focus on activities that fall in quadrants 1 and 2, which include long-term planning, relationship building, and personal development. By organizing our time and priorities effectively, we can increase our productivity, reduce stress, and achieve a sense of balance. Okay, now habit 4. Think win-win. Covey emphasizes the importance of seeking mutually beneficial solutions and fostering cooperation. Think win-win encourages individuals to adapt an abundance mindset rather than falling into the trap of scarcity thinking. Effective people strive for outcomes that benefit all parties involved, seeking collaboration and synergy. Now, this part can be challenging for people who are not well versed in the ideas and language of emotional intelligence, but this is an easy one to learn. It just takes time and repetition. In teaching ourselves to ask one simple question: who wins and how can we all win here? Covey also emphasizes the significance of empathetic listening and understanding the needs and concerns of others to create win-win solutions in both personal and professional relationships. Okay, now habit 5, seek to understand, then be understood. Communication plays a vital role in effective relationships. Covey highlights the habit of active listening and empathetic communication. Seek first to understand, then be understood emphasizes the importance of genuinely understanding others' perspectives before sharing our own. The author also introduces the concept of an emotional bank account, where individuals build trust and connection through consistent deposits of understanding, respect, and empathy. By mastering empathetic listening, individuals can enhance their relationships and build the foundations of trust. Here's the thing to keep in mind. When we take the time to empathetically listen to those we are having conversations with, chances are the solution they present may be just as viable as the solution that we have in mind. Another thing, by listening to the other person, we have a much greater chance of understanding why they feel the way they do. Then, we can potentially help them achieve their goals and at the same time develop their trust in us so that they can then turn around and help us achieve ours. Nobody has to lose. Winners are not the last ones standing. Those are just lone survivors. Winners are those who get past the challenges and come to the ends they desire, which leads us to habit 6, synergize. Covey defines synergy as the creation of something greater through the collaboration of diverse individuals and ideas. In other words, the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. On a side note here, the idea that the whole is greater than the sum of its parts is known as emergence in academic terms. It's the observation that a system made up of many interacting parts has properties that are often unexpected when considering the properties of the individual parts. By valuing differences and seeking out diverse perspectives, effective people can generate innovative solutions and achieve remarkable results. Covey emphasizes the importance of open-mindedness, creativity, and teamwork in achieving synergy and leveraging the collective strengths of a group. And the 7th habit of highly effective people is sharpen the saw. Sharpening the saw centers around personal renewal and growth. Covey uses the analogy of the saw that becomes dull over time due to repetitive use. To maintain effectiveness, individuals must invest time in self-care, continuous learning, and personal development. Covey introduces the 4 dimensions of renewal as being physical, mental, spiritual, and social/emotional. By nurturing these aspects of life, individuals can enhance their overall well-being and sustain long-term effectiveness. When I think of this, I sometimes think of someone who decides to get all healthy. They get all inspired. They buy the new shoes, they get the gym membership, they start working out, and within a short period of time, they see the results coming in. They keep at it, and soon thereafter, they see huge differences. The efforts are paying off. Their goals are met. They feel better, look better, act more confident. Their outlook on life starts to change. They feel amazing that they've reached some kind of goal. What happens if they start feeling like they've arrived, though? Or that they get complacent and stop going to the gym and eating well? If we stop doing the work, then we stop getting the results. Those with a high emotional intelligence are typically better at managing stress, resolving disputes, and fostering a collaborative environment, and thus become more successful.